With 22 days to go until the presidential election, official campaigning starts today. Among 7 hopefuls registered, the DP's Lee Jae-myung started his day at Gwanghwamun, where he called for national unity. The PPP's Kim Moon-soo chose a local market in the capital as his first stop, where he put emphasis on people's livelihoods. The U.S. and China agreed to lower tariffs by 115 percentage points for the time being, after 2 days of talks over the weekend. An iconic Korean culture festival successfully wrapped up its 3-day run in Japan over the weekend, bringing together thousands of visitors for a diverse look into K-pop and K-culture. It's May 12th, 8 p.m. in Seoul. This is Newscenter. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. As Korea counts down to the June 3rd snap election, official campaigning began today. Oh Soo-young explains in detail.
With candidates travelling and blaring theme tunes throughout the nation, official presidential election campaigns hit the streets on Monday with banners, flyers and headshots now installed across some 80,000 locations throughout the country. From 7 a.m. to 11 p.m, candidates can give speeches and hold talks in public spaces with the use of loudspeakers only until 9 p.m. The candidates and their teams can also distribute banners, leaflets and name cards. Voters can also take part in campaigning, expressing support for a party or candidate through speech or phone calls until the day before the election. Campaigning via text messages or social media is allowed, even on election day. However, sharing false information, defamatory content, or producing and distributing deepfake videos may result in legal consequences under election laws. The rules also apply to overseas Koreans. The official campaigning period ends on June 2nd, the day before Election Day. In the meantime, registered Koreans overseas can cast their ballots from Tuesday to Sunday next week at designated locations from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. They must have proof of identification issued by a Korean or foreign government and a document proving their nationality. If they are in Korea during the voting period, they can visit the local election commission of their most recent registered Korean address. Early voting for all Korean citizens will take place on May 29th and 30th from 6 a.m. till 6 p.m. On Election Day, ballots will be open until 8 p.m. Given that it's an early election triggered by a presidential vacancy, the new government will take office the next day without a transition committee. Acting President Lee Jae-myung on Monday chaired a high-level meeting urging a fair and transparent campaign period. He warned of zero tolerance for illegal acts, from spreading misinformation to political bias among public servants. Special investigation units have been activated and a nationwide oversight system is in place to protect the rights of voters at home and abroad. Calling the election a historic opportunity for national unity, the acting president appealed to Koreans to come together not only to vote, but to move beyond division and face challenges as one nation. Oh Soo-young, Arirang News.
The DP's Lee Jae-myung launched his campaign at a landmark in the capital, where he called for national unity. His next stops centered around shedding light on his economic vision. Our correspondent Shin Ha-young reports.
Seoul's Gwanghwamun was the first stop of the official campaign of Democratic Party presidential candidate Lee Jae-myung, where he drew around 20,000 people. The DP launched the campaign and Lee delivered his first public speech as the official presidential candidate of the party on Monday at Cheonggae Plaza near Gwanghwamun. Lee's camp chose this place as his first stop because it's where people gathered with light sticks calling for the impeachment of former President Yoon Suk-yeol. The DP refers to the process of overcoming the December 3rd martial law declaration and subsequent unrest as a revolution of light. The concept of the campaign centers on listening and unity. During the speech, he emphasized that national unity was his #1 priority.
I'm running not only as the DP's candidate, but for all people who seek to end insurrections, overcome crisis and ensure everyone's happiness. I will lead with humility to unite the country, which I believe is the president's most important duty.
Lee's camp also outlined 3 key goals: recovery, growth, and happiness, along with 10 major pledges. These included boosting the economy, restoring democracy, strengthening national security, and overcoming challenges such as the low birth rate, the aging population, and climate change. The camp also emphasized transforming South Korea into one of the world's top 3 AI powers. After finishing in Seoul, Lee then headed south to visit what the party calls the K-initiative belt, which includes Pangyo and Dongtan in Gyeonggi-do province as well as Daejeon. In Pangyo, known for its IT companies, Lee focused on innovation. He spoke with workers in IT research and development and said he plans to expand support for startups. On a visit to Dongtan, home to major chip maker plants, he asked for support as he pledged to boost the semiconductor industry. As part of his visit to the K-initiative belt, Lee Jae-myung wrapped up the first day of his official campaign in Daejeon, a hub for scientific research, where he highlighted science and technology. 신하영, Arirang News, Daejeon.
Turning to the People Power Party, leaving behind an unprecedented conflict within the party, the PPP's Kim Moon-soo began his campaign at a local market in Seoul, vowing to take care of people's livelihoods. Later in the day, he visited traditionally conservative stronghold, Daegu. Our correspondent Kim Do-yeon has this report.
Livelihoods, the economy, and integrity. That's what People Power Party presidential candidate Kim Moon-soo emphasized as he kicked off his first official day on the campaign trail. He wrapped up the day in familiar territory, Daegu, a traditional conservative stronghold, and his hometown. Born and raised in and around the city, Kim appealed directly to longtime party loyalists and his fellow former neighbors.
But now, while Somun Market has improved a lot and Daegu has seen great progress, we still face many challenges. To overcome these difficulties, we must once again build a great Republic of Korea.
Kim also leaned into a new campaign slogan launched Monday, A New Korea with Integrity, Kim Moon-soo. He told the crowd he's an honest man, that he simply can't lie. The slogan, according to the party, reflects a call for unity, bridging divides across gender, generations, and ideology. Here at the rally in Daegu, prominent party figures such as floor leader Kwon Sung-dong took the stage in a show of unity, aiming to project a cohesive front amid recent tensions between Kim and the leadership over a proposed merger with independent candidate Han Deok-soo. Daegu, on the other hand, was only one of 3 cities that he campaigned on Monday as he started his day at 5 a.m. at Garak Market, an agricultural wholesale market in southern Seoul. This is to show his motivation in improving the livelihoods of working-class people, according to him. And this market is where wholesale and retail, sellers and consumers come together starting from the early hours.
I really need to become a market president, a president for livelihoods, also a president for the economy. I think I need to become a president who improves living in South Korea.
After a campaign committee meeting at party headquarters, Kim headed south, making a stop at Daejeon National Cemetery to honor those who sacrificed for the country, a gesture he said reflects the foundation of his political values. Joining him throughout the day was newly appointed interim party leader Kim Yong-tae, a 34-year-old freshman lawmaker. Formally accepted the role with an apology for the past 5 months of internal strife, acknowledging the party's failures in leadership, accountability, and bipartisan cooperation. Kim Do-yeon, Arirang News, Daegu.
Reform Party candidate Lee Jun-seok has pledged to lead South Korea to the future, strengthening its economy and rebuilding its institutions. Kicking off his official campaign at midnight Monday, Lee visited an industrial complex in the southern city of Yeosu, calling for policies to revitalize the country's struggling export hubs. He also proposed introducing flexibility on the minimum wage to boost labor competitiveness while ramping up industrial safety standards. Upon his return to Seoul, he launched himself as a presidential contender at the age of 40, saying the upcoming election is a showdown between, quote, the future and the past, integrity and corruption. Former President Yoon attended the third hearing of his criminal trial on charges of insurrection at the Seoul Central District Court today. He also passed through the main public entrance for the first time, in contrast to his earlier visits that allowed him entry via the underground car park area to avoid the media. On this Monday, Yoon walked straight into the court building without any interaction with the press pool. A group of people were also gathered outside the court, chanting his name in a show of support. In a major breakthrough, the U.S. and China have announced a significant rollback on their tariffs, lowering them by 115 percentage points for 90 days. An Sung-jin has the latest.
After months of what seemed like a trade war, the United States and China have decided on tariff cuts.
We have reached an agreement on a 90-day pause and substantially moved down the tariff levels. Both sides on the reciprocal tariffs will move their tariffs down 115%.
The announcement comes following trade negotiations in Geneva over the weekend. In a joint statement, both emphasized the importance of a sustainable, long-term, and mutually beneficial economic and trade relationship.
China has always pursued win-win outcomes in its trade and economic negotiations, and therefore, any deal to be reached must surely be in China's own development interests.
The Trump administration will be lowering its tariffs on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%, while Beijing will slash its taxes on U.S. imports from 125% to 10%. The tariff revisions are set to be imposed before May 14th. The tariff cuts, which come as a surprise breakthrough, may de-escalate tightened trade tensions and pessimistic global market outlooks. An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
Russia and Ukraine are set to hold negotiations in Istanbul on Thursday. Russian President Vladimir Putin proposed direct talks with Ukraine in a late-night address on Saturday, aiming at bringing peace. And his Ukrainian counterpart Volodymyr Zelensky responded by saying he's ready to meet Putin personally. His response came shortly after U.S. President Donald Trump on Sunday demanded that Ukraine agree to Putin's offer of talks. At the Vatican, Pope Leo XIV appealed for no more war in his first Sunday address, echoing the words of his predecessor, Pope Francis. The pontiff called for a lasting peace in Ukraine, an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, and the release of Israeli hostages held by Hamas. He also welcomed the recent ceasefire between India and Pakistan. Speaking to a crowd in St. Peter's Square, the new pope said he was praying to God to grant the world the miracle of peace. This past weekend, a major K-culture festival opened doors to fans over in Japan. And our culture correspondent Song Yoo-jin was there to bring us this report.
The Makuhari-metse, Japan's second-largest convention center, has been transformed into a K-pop arena. Fans scream, sing along, and wave neon-colored light sticks as their favorite artists take to the stage. The lineup features rising and top-tier acts like Kiki, QWER, Zero Base One, and Highlight. This is KCON Japan 2025.
So where I am right now is KCON Japan, one of the largest K-culture festivals in the world. Now here, you can experience almost everything you need to know about Korean culture.
Launched in Los Angeles in 2012, KCON has toured over 10 countries, growing from just 10,000 attendees to now more than 100,000 per event. KCON Japan, the festival's first Asian edition, has been held annually since 2015.
Japan isn't just a major music market, it's the biggest overseas consumer of K-content. We're seeing more top-tier artists like G-Dragon, 17, and Stray Kids performing here, which shows K-pop is no longer just a foreign genre. It's now part of Japan's mainstream culture.
Beyond the music, KCON offers hands-on experiences related to the broader Korean wave. Dozens of booths introduce the latest in K-beauty, food, dramas, and merchandise. But what truly sets KCON apart is how close fans can get to their favorite stars.
It was amazing, everything I'd hoped for. The fan service was incredible. They even blew hand kisses. It felt like we were close, like friends.
What really stood out was getting to see the artist up close when they visited the artist booths. Also, at the meet and greet, you could see them from a very close distance, something you don't normally get to experience.
Having wrapped up its 3-day run in Japan, KCON now prepares for its next stop, Los Angeles, this August. 송유진, Arirang News, Chiba.
Following a pause of some 6 years in light of the global pandemic, the Osan Air Base has opened its doors to the public for a showcase that shared its spectacular aerial capabilities. Our defense correspondent Kim Bo-kyung was there.
The F-16 Fighting Falcon performs advanced flight maneuvers cutting through the rain-soaked sky. After a 6-year pause since the COVID-19 pandemic paused the tradition, Osan Air Base reopened its doors to the public over the weekend. Playing a critical role defending not just South Korea but also the Pacific region, this premier U.S. Air Base finally enjoyed the chance to welcome locals to showcase its capabilities.
This air show is in many ways a chance for us to say thank you for the hospitality and all the support we receive from the city of Pyeongtaek and the country of South Korea.
Team Osan prepared a lot for people to see, but one of the most significant moments attendees could perhaps have enjoyed was this.
Fitting with the air show's theme, Respect the Past and Forge the Future, the show offered a final display in Korea of the A-10 Thunderbolt, which is in the process of phased withdrawal.
The 51st Fighter Wing is the last overseas unit operating the A-10. Nicknamed Warthog, the aircraft will depart by the end of the fiscal year 2025. As part of a historic send-off, visitors were able to witness static displays and weapon load demonstration.
For my squadron, we focused on close air support, combat search and rescue, and forward air controller airborne missions, among others that are specific to Korea. And the significance of that is, as mentioned earlier, is that we take a deep pride in the mission of defending Korea.
Another particularly special performance would be this year's final public performance of the Pacific Air Force's F-16 demonstration team, based out of Misawa Air Base, Japan.
Yeah, so I'm super honored that this is going to be our last show here in Korea, then I get to do it as well.
While letting the public experience the spirit of Fight Tonight firsthand, the Air Base was able to express gratitude to the local Korean community in its own way. Kim Bo-kyung, Arirang News, Pyeongtaek.
Time now to take a look at what's been happening in the world of sports. Joining us in the studio is our sports editor, Paul Need. Welcome.
Thank you.
Let's begin with golf. A win on home soil for Kim Hyo-joo.
Yes, the LPGA veteran successfully defended her European Tour title. She won the Aramco Korea Championship on Sunday following a final round card of 3 under 69. This meant a 7 under par 209 finish, 2 strokes clear of Chiara Tamburini of Switzerland. She takes home $225,000 in prize money. She won the same tournament last year, doing so wire to wire for what was the ladies' European Tour's debut in South Korea. It's her third win overall, to go with 7 wins on the LPGA Tour.
To football now. Son Heung-min is back from an injury layoff.
Yes, he was back in the Spurs squad on Sunday for the first time since April 11th, 9 games ago. He picked up a foot injury in a Europa League tie with Eintracht Frankfurt and has been out since then. Son came off the bench in the second half, replacing Pedro Porro in the 58th minute. Spurs lost 2-0 to Crystal Palace though and sit 17th in the league table. But the team's major focus now is the Europa League final against Manchester United on May 21st in Bilbao.
Sticking with football and trophies, Kim Min-jae was finally able to get his hands on one in a Bayern Munich shirt.
Yes, Bayern eventually did seal the Bundesliga title. They actually did so when Bayer Leverkusen in second drew 2-2 with Freiburg last weekend. But on Saturday, after a 2-0 win over Borussia Mönchengladbach, he and the rest of the Bayern players were presented with the trophy. It's Kim Min-jae's first with Bayern Munich in what is his second season with the club. He's featured in 27 league games this season, playing 77% of all possible minutes and scoring 2 goals. It's his second league title in Europe, having also won the Scudetto with Napoli in 2023.
And finally to baseball. Hanwha Eagles just can't be stopped at the moment.
Right, 12 wins in a row now, and it's something that hasn't been done by Hanwha in 33 years. It's been down to some dominant starting pitching and late-game offensive surges. If they beat the Doosan Bears on the 13th, they'll tie for 7th on the all-time win streak list. And sweeping the series could break the team's all-time record of 14. The Eagles soared to the top of the standings on April 26 and have a record of 27 wins and 13 losses. They also lead the league in comeback wins and pinch hit batting average, while starter Yoo Hyun-jin and closer Kim So-hyun have become a near unbeatable combo. This could be a historic season for the Eagles, who, for the last 6 seasons, have finished in the bottom 3 of the KBO standings, including dead last on 3 occasions. Their last Korean series dates back to 1999, while their last league championship was in 1992.
Much to look forward to. Thanks for the wrap-up, Paul.
Thank you.
We saw good climbing temperatures this afternoon, making it feel quite warm for most of us. It's going to be warmer in most places tomorrow, and while the gaps are narrowing down in many regions, bigger gaps will remain in inland areas. Gyeongju will see a chilly morning turning into a summer warmth within a few hours. And if you forgot your sun protective items today, be sure to have them with you tomorrow. UV rays will reach very high levels in more places. Checking on tomorrow's temperatures now, Seoul starts off at 15 degrees, Gyeongju at just 9 degrees under mostly sunny skies. The capital area could have high levels of ultrafine dust in the morning. Then Seoul gets up to 25 degrees by the afternoon. Daegu makes it to 27 degrees. We are looking at a chance of some showers on Thursday for the capital area and the southern coast in Jeju Island. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the international weather conditions.
that is Newscenter for tonight. Thank you for watching. A panel session up next.